Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is video number 3. I should say namaste because we are in Nepal, Kathmandu, Nepal. We've been vacationing here for the last, let's say, 3 or 4 days. I'm so jet lagged, I can't be sure. And it's been a wonderful experience so far. We today went, a couple of our close friends have joined us, and so we went to look at a temple and what's called a stupa, which is a Buddhist place of worship. Today and yesterday we went to a monastery and we took some meditation and yoga classes. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty um, tiring because I've done like 15-minute meditations before, maybe 20 minutes, but I've never done an hour and a half long meditation. So it's pretty intense and sort of eye-opening experience. And I think there's no better place for me to talk about the thought model that I wanted to introduce to you all today. So, the thought model is based on the assumption that thoughts, right, make us feel whatever thoughts we have, make us feel certain feelings. And then those feelings make us take certain actions. And when we're not aware of the cycle, then the actions we take end up confirming whatever our original thought was. I'll explain this with an example in case you're thinking, what? So, for example, I tend to struggle with social anxiety. A lot of people who know me might be surprised to hear this because I don't think it's terribly obvious, but I really thrive on one-on-one social interactions. I'm a psychiatrist after all. Human connection is, why I feel like I've been put on this earth. But large sort of cocktail parties and social superficial chatter is not my thing, and it's not a strength of mine. And so for a long time, when I got even an email inviting me to a cocktail get together of some sort, I would immediately, almost immediately, have some thoughts going through my head, and they would sound like this: oh no, I have to go to one of these again. I'm not good at this. I'm not going to like anyone there. No one there is going to like me. I'm going to have a hard time connecting with anyone. And so all these negative thoughts would fill my head, and it would make me have this feeling like sort of like anxiety in the pit of my stomach, sort of a discomfort in my body, a dreading sensation, and it would make me take some actions. When I was not aware of the cycle, the actions I would end up taking would be one of two things. Either I would, not go, or I would convince myself that I will go. And then when I got closer to the time of having to leave, I would exaggerate, subconsciously. I wasn't aware of this, but I would exaggerate subconsciously some bodily symptom like, oh no, my stomach is starting to feel weird. Maybe I should like take it easy today, do some self care, take a bath, listen to music, you know, um, do something soothing. And it almost sounded like a positive coping skill that I'd convince myself that I should be proud of, doing something to soothe myself, and that it was a healthy alternative. And so I would then do that and not go. That action, either one of those two actions, would then confirm to me my original thought that I couldn't go to these things, or if I went, it was a disaster. So it became this self perpetuating cycle where every time I got an email, I was like more convinced that I could never go to these things, right? So once I realized this, I noticed that I was having this cycle not only in the example that I just shared, but in many other areas of my life as well, including relationships. For example, let's say, you might think your partner, I don't know, throws his or her clothes on the floor and it's messy, right? That's a common complaint that I hear from my couple clients. Um, so what might you do, right? Oftentimes, when we're not aware of the cycle, we might have these thoughts of not feeling appreciated or taken for granted, or feeling like we're with a really inconsiderate partner. And all these thoughts would then cause us to feel resentment and anger and annoyance in our body and in our minds. those feelings would oftentimes have us to take certain actions. One of those actions often ends up being that we scan the environment for other things that prove how inconsiderate our partners are, right? So the more we look, guess what? We're going to find lots of examples. And in this way, it confirms your original thought that your partner is not being considerate and you're, a victim, and you have this martyr kind of mentality around this whole thing. What we know about couples research shows that when we scan the environment for negative things that our partners are doing, it almost inevitably leads to dissatisfaction in the marriage and separation. So that's called a negative perspective, and we'll talk about that in much more detail in a later video. So when I began noticing this in different parts of my life, I said, wait a minute, how do I stop myself from going down this spiral? And, I won't go into all the details of all the things that didn't work because I tried many things and many of them didn't work. The thing that did work was changing my action. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I would make myself go to these parties, but tell myself I only had to go for 20 minutes and I had to talk to one new person during those 20 minutes. Okay, remember, I really like one on one interaction and I like human connection, right? So I enjoyed these one on one interactions and I only had to do it for 20 minutes. So when I made myself do that and gave myself an out because I could leave in 20 minutes, then the thoughts that I would be filled with on my ride home would be very different than the original thought. Instead of like feeling like I can never do this, these things are always a disaster, instead I would be having thoughts that go something like, that wasn't so bad, I really enjoyed that. Even I made a new friend, or I didn't know X was good at this and that and the other, or this person had gone to this place when they were a child, things that would make me actually feel really good about those 20 minutes. Those are the kind of thoughts that would fill my head, right? And in that way, I was able to break that cycle, okay? And I would say you can intervene in that cycle in the point of thoughts or feelings or actions. But I've learned through trial and error that changing your thoughts or changing your feelings is hard. It's not impossible, but there's a lot more work that goes into it. But changing your actions in a really tiny, baby step kind of way is the easiest and simplest way to break that cycle. Okay. This skill alone, I find myself using at least once or even twice a day, even in the last week, I would say, and it has really transformed not just how I think about things inside my head, but also in my relationships. I feel like the space between us, the space between two human beings, the space between any two human beings is really where the divine resides. It's where all joys and all sorrows is played out in this lifetime, right? And if we're able to learn skills that makes us feel calmer and makes the space between our interactions feel more loving and gentle and less filled with ups and downs and drama, then we really see the quality of our lives improving. So that's my video for today. I would love to hear from you. I want to know how you've noticed this. Have you noticed this happening in your own life? And in what areas have you noticed it, if you have? And I would also love to see if you could try a small baby step action that would change the nature of the cycle and share it with us so we can all learn from each other. So that's my request. Thank you so much for listening, and it was a pleasure. I'm really enjoying doing these videos, by the way. I love the feeling of connecting with you all every week. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.